We're live in the flesh.
Hello, darling.
Hi.
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 Welcome to the season finale of season 4.
The season finale.
Find that line.
Find that line.
Finally.
Finally. Oh my God.
Hi, welcome to Script Daddy, where we read scripts, watch the movie, and discuss the differences between script and screen. I'm your host, Colin.
I am your dedicated host, Carly.
Carly.
From a little town here in Minnesota.
In Minnesota. Should we just
Let's just dive right in.
Dipping and doing and diving?
We are doing The Fountain.
The Fountain.
Which, do you think that your general takeaway is that this is a slightly niche film? Or no? Yeah?
Yeah. I think it was niche when it came out when I first saw it, and I think it's still very much niche.
Because I remember when I first started dating Scott, he was like, "Oh, The Fountain." Even though I talked to him, he's like, "I haven't seen it in forever." He's like, "I actually want to like see it again and see how I feel." But that was always like one of his movies that was like one of his faves.
Yeah.
So I guess I hadn't seen it myself, but I'd heard of it, and I think I always assumed it was like a way bigger movie than it was. I mean, it is a big.
I didn't have enough time to do my usual amount of research for this episode, so I don't know too much. But my brother said, and I haven't fact checked this.
I might have.
Brad Pitt was originally attached.
Yes.
And so it's not like it's a small movie. And this is Aronofsky after he's had at least some like cult hits.
Yeah.
So, and also judging from it and all the CG from 2006, I mean, couldn't have been a small budget. I'm sure you have all the deets.
Actually, they didn't use CGI for most of it.
Really?
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
When he's doing Tai Chi with the stars behind him, I was like, I wonder if this was practical.
I can't wait to let's get through this because I actually have answers to all of those things in the trivia.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so today I am presenting Amazon's IMDb logline as well as IMDb's, and I'd like to discuss which we think is better real quick. Miss Bezos wrote, spanning over 1,000 years and 3 parallel stories, The Fountain is a story of love, death, spirituality, and the fragility of our existence in this world.
Yes.
Okay.
But that doesn't really feel like a log line.
No, it doesn't.
Like if I was pitching this script and sending it to a producer, that's more of like a short summary.
Okay, so then here is IMDb, also known as I Am Deborah. As a modern-day scientist, Tommy is struggling with mortality, desperately searching for the medical breakthrough that will save the life of his cancer-stricken wife, Izzy.
Yeah, that's more of a logline.
That's more of a logline.
In a traditional sense, yeah.
Although I will say, like, I felt like both work in the sense.
Both definitely work.
The second one's better.
Yeah. Debbie came through with this one.
It has a little more oomph to it, for sure.
Yeah, because it's setting up to know what the general kind of plot is about.
It evokes the part of you that wants to know more, whereas I feel like the first one feels so complete. You're kind of like, okay, well, I guess I'm good.
The first one's like the little like punchline summary that you read before like a panel on the movie or something. You know what I mean?
That's a read, absolutely.
Period.
Yes. The director's this little teeny tiny director named Darren.
It's Darren, actually.
Darren Aronofsky. No, Aronofsky. Darren Aronofsky. I can't speak now. He's done so much, but like Pi was huge for him. Requiem for a Dream was huge for him.
I've still never seen Requiem because I feel like it's gonna make me feel.
It does make you feel
things.
like absolute like ick.
But ever since high school, I've been like, I need to see that.
I think
movie.
we should perchance do that.
I think
an episode on that.
we need to.
He also did Mother. I did not like that film at all.
I really didn't like Mother. I kind of want to revisit it to see because there are people that do ride for that film, but I thought it was a mess and a half.
I thought it was a mess and a half too. But that being said, now with doing this podcast too, there was a part of me that was kind of wanted to challenge myself and go like,
he loves a Christian motif.
Yeah, like let's do a deep dive and see if we feel differently about it because they are both great actors.
You know I'm down.
And it's visually stunning. And I wanted to like it more than I did.
Black Swan was very interesting to dissect.
Yeah, it really
that script was.
I mean, he also did The Whale more recently. I mean, just
I my God! I guess I've never fully clocked that because I loved The Whale.
He did The Fighter and The Wrestler.
The Fighter's quite good. Have you seen The Fighter? I remember really liking it. I mean, granted, I only saw it once, but I really liked it.
I don't think I did, but I mean, like, just so much good.
Great career.
Great career.
And he has such a specific artistic DNA.
He does.
His films have a very specific look.
True.
To them.
Agreed.
He has a thing with the lights in his films that I've noticed.
It's
where they're like blown out but kind of hazy at the same time. It's interesting. It sets a mood.
He wrote it with Ari Handel.
Yeah.
It stars Hugh Jackman as a wee baby boy.
Truly a tiny nuggish of a man.
The sweetest baby boy.
Yeah. And he was doing X-Men and stuff during this time. I wonder if he lost weight for this role because he's not it doesn't seem like he was as bulky as he usually is.
I have to say I enjoyed him so much in this, I can't even say roles. Like I really enjoyed him.
Yeah.
I just was like his little sweet face. Rachel
Weisz, baby. I love her.
She never misses. She never misses.
She never misses.
Her face card also never misses.
The face card is lethal.
Lethal.
Like, it never bounces, and it stays sharp, baby.
She really is fantastic in every. And
I love her.
She just gets better and better and better. Like,
have you ever seen My Cousin Rachel?
Yes, fantastic.
Girl,
she's so
love her in that movie.
She's so good.
She's truly.
She also feels like
one
she
of
elevates
the underrated
everything. I agree.
bests that we have,
and she stays booked. Like she does. Like she's another one that
Who
if you go on her IMDb, you're
Girl.
going like scroll for eternity. Yeah,
and she's in my all-time favorite movie, The Mummy, baby. She's the female lead. And I'll just, even if she wasn't a great actor, which she is, obviously, I would still always love her forever. Oh, 100%. Her and Brandon Fraser. Brendan Fraser. Oops.
I always get nervous when we have mics in front of us that I literally feel like I lose the ability to pronounce anything correct.
Yeah.
The cinematographer is one of Scott's faves, Matthew Libatique.
Cinematography is gorgeous.
It is really, really beautiful. The budget was $35 million.
Period. Okay.
And the gross was $16.5 million worldwide.
Yeah. I remember it not doing well.
Okay, so quick triv. Warner Brothers refused to do a director's commentary for the DVD release, so Darren recorded one in his living room and released it on his website.
Oh my God, yes, Darren.
I know. I was like, I love that little like rebellious spirit. Okay, so here we go. Instead of using CGI, Darren chose to do the visual effects for the film by using microphotography of chemical reactions on tiny petri dishes.
Shut up.
He said that CGI would take away from the timelessness of the film and that he wants the film to stand the test of time. You know what's really first off,
Script
moment
Daddies,
of silence for that because it's incredible.
If you're not watching, my mouth was agape.
It's very much open. His mouth was very much open.
Wow.
Yeah. Dare I say go back because I
now need to go back and watch.
I knew this before I watched it and I was truly so impressed.
Yeah, I love.
And you know what I kept saying to Scott because he was like I was watching it in our bedroom and he was like doing different things. Mm-hmm. I kept saying AI could never, and he was like, well, ironically, Darren's one of the people who's behind starting to like use AI now,
Darren.
Which actually kind of surprised me given just like the
the hellscape.
Of the 70 extras cast as Mayan warriors, 20 were actual Mayans flown in from Guatemala.
Oh, wow.
Fernando Hernandez, who played the Lord of, what is it? What is the name? Xibalba was the only actor who could speak English of them.
Oh, he played the papas.
Before shooting at the Mayan pyramid, the Mayan actors blessed the set. Also, like...
Obsessed.
His energy was so potent.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It really
I couldn't take my eyes off of him.
The look in his eyes.
Holy God.
Yeah. Incredible.
Absolutely like breathtaking.
Yes.
Like no small parts because I literally was struck. Like,
yeah.
Oof. Okay. So last few things. Darren originally planned a major battle between the Mayans and the Conquistadors, but budget cuts and the release of the grand epic battle films, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, Troy, and King Arthur all around the same time, made him change his mind and rewrite it to be mainly between Tomas and the Mayans. He realized that this worked out better. One man against the army represented a man defying odds.
Yes.
Loved that.
I liked the changes.
So
I really loved the way the script opens.
Oh my God, the first page. My note is like read the first page.
That was one of my notes too.
Stunning.
So
stay tuned as we're doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, last bit here. In early 2002, Darren cast Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett in the central leads of Tom and Izzy with a budget of $75 million. During pre-production, Pitt and Aronofsky were having major creative differences, so Pitt left to film Troy instead, and the film was shut down, and the sets and props built in Australia were auctioned off.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy? In early 2004, with a smaller budget of $35 million, Aronofsky, I can't speak, cast Hugh Jackman as Tom, and Rachel replaced Blanchett as Izzy. Warner Brothers, who had invested $20 million in the canceled version, agreed to finance the new, cheaper version.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad the film got made.
Same.
Because Trevor, my brother, who told me Brad Pitt was originally attached, I guess Brad said that it was the best script he's ever read after he read it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I echo those sentiments, honestly.
See, this is why I think it's going to be an interesting conversation, because I had a little bit of a different experience than you.
It's going to be very interesting.
My last triv is that I thought this was really beautiful. Tom's last name is Creo, which means I believe or I think in Spanish. His wife, Izzy Creo, is named after the Spanish phrase, I cannot speak Spanish, but it was like, which essentially the Spanish phrase means, and yes, I do believe, which I thought absolutely stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely stunning. The fact that Tom, like, I love those little extra details when writers go that extra mile. I really, really do.
I agree. I love it. It's a very symbolic movie.
What is your script score?
My script score is a 10 out of 10.
I knew you were going to say that.
I had a time with this script.
You did. We did not. Okay. For the listeners, we did not discuss any details other than Colin sent me 3 voice notes going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah, it was a lot. So this is what I wrote after reading. I said, I'll have you know I'm writing this assessment through tearful sobs of elation. This story is profound, transcendent, and deeply important. It's a love letter to death and its transformative power. The great unifier, the reason we must appreciate life to the fullest. Throughout the story, Tom denies death, fervently clinging to life at all costs, even when it means sacrificing the last moments he has with his dying wife, desperately seeking to save her, to regain more time with her for himself, a selfish desire disguised as a noble cause. Only through his acceptance of death can he fully accept life and transcend its bonds upon his consciousness. The beautiful line of dialogue, "Death is the road to awe," perfectly encapsulates this. Only by living our lives in acceptance of and in reference to our inevitable demise can we fully appreciate the awe and wonder that surrounds us at all times. By denying death, we deny life. This is the very essence of Memento Mori, or Memento Mori. In today's youth-obsessed, biohacking, fevered race to achieve immortality via technology, humans decide to play God instead of accepting that we are all expressions of God itself. Immortality is our birthright and can only be accessed through the portal that is death. Physical reality is the dream we wake up from when we cross through the veil and reclaim the bliss of our true nature. And that is the message of this story. Accompanying these profound themes and messages is absolutely stunning prose, dialogue, formatting, and story structure. This script, in a word, is frictionless. This is a beast of a story to pull off, yet Aronofsky makes it seem effortless. We're bouncing back and forth through time, locations, and variations of characters, all without ever having to stop and reread in order to regain context. It's simply a masterpiece and should be studied by all screenwriters.
Beautiful. Stunning.
Yeah, I loved it. I finished it and I was like, oh.
Okay, so this is what's so interesting.
It really hit, just because the themes and the symbology of it runs so deep.
That's where I felt strange, because the themes and the symbology, to me, I'm like, that's right up my alley. That is absolutely what I like to talk about, what I like to learn about.
Give it to me. What's your script score?
Okay, so I went back and forth.
Give it to me. I'm so intrigued.
I landed on an 8.5.
Okay,
but I was vacillating between an 8.5 and an 8.7.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's no version of reality where this isn't a fantastic script. So that's not even what it's about. I'll tell you why it's not higher.
Yes,
but I found this to be an extremely powerful script that took artistic liberties in its formatting to match the structure-breaking story. While it does follow a traditional story arc in the end, and there is truly a hero's journey, it does so in 3 different timelines and realms that are constantly interwoven. I found Darren's approach refreshing and almost novel-like. I also found it to be pretty easy to follow, which is a huge feat considering how complex the interweaving stories really are. The only real downfall for me was, given the nature of the subject matter, I never truly felt emotionally moved while reading it the way I have with other scripts. I felt outside of it in admiration, but not inside of it feeling it.
Interesting. Okay.
It made me feel crazy though, because again, I was like, I appreciated the formatting things he did differently. I appreciated how easy it was to read, specifically given the fact that it's not even like 3 separate timelines. They're interwoven timelines. That's what I loved about it too, is like they're not really, past, present, future. You're going in and out all the time. We have like the exchanging of objects with the ring that goes through all these different things. There's so much going on. And I really genuinely, I was like, that's why I kept saying, I was like, there's no version where this isn't a great script. And I really respected all the things he did. I just kept feeling like, wow, that's great, versus like that hand on the chest, like, oh my God. Yeah. And I still don't know why that didn't fully land for me the way I don't know. Maybe because I feel
I'm excited to parse through and see if we can figure out why.
I think sometimes a lot of like for me, this isn't a full truth though. I was gonna say dialogue helps for me to feel more immersed in something, and there is not a lot of dialogue in this film.
There's not. It's very scant. Like it's.
But that being said, like the
dialogue.
action was both beautiful and also just very informative. So I don't know if it was that, but again, the weird part was that I was just like, I felt like the joyous, like, oh, that was great. Versus like, again, that like feeling in your chest. I just didn't have that. And that's why for me, I had to give it an 8.5, like 8.7, because I was like, I felt so in admiration and respect for it. It didn't engage my senses the way that I thought it would.
Totally fair. You want to hear my movie score?
Yeah.
So since season 1, I've been saying I can't wait to experience a movie where it's a 10 out of 10 script, but the movie's not a 10 out of 10 for me. Oh my God. This is that movie.
What is it?
It's an 8 out of 10 for me.
Fair.
It's an 8 out of 10 for the movie. And when I first saw this movie, it was 10 out of 10. I loved it. It stuck with me. I've never rewatched it again, but I remember just being like, I love that movie. Oh my God.
Don't you sometimes wish that you could just preserve that forever?
Yeah, but the script preserved that feeling.
Fair.
For me.
Okay. I love that.
So the movie's an 8 out of 10. This is what I said. I still really enjoyed the movie, but this is one of the first times a 10 out of 10 script has resulted in a lower score for the movie. I love the overall feel of the movie. The score, the cinematography, and the set design are gorgeous, but I'm left feeling like there's more to be desired from the performances, particularly from Hugh Jackman.
Interesting.
A lot of the line reads came through in a way that made me feel the dialogue was on the nose in places where it never felt like that on the page. But beyond that, it's a story that I find so inspiring, a true work of art, and a testament to what a film can be when you allow creativity and inspiration to be the main driving force. So that's my main thing.
Interesting, yeah.
Watching it, all the stuff on the page that I was like blown away by, it was like, yeah, for some reason, the dialogue felt super on the nose, and there are times where when it's like, I'm here for my wife, and like, or even like sometimes when he's crying, it's like it's not bad acting, but it just felt like acting.
I get that.
Like I'm crying, I'm acting, and I'm upset right now.
No, I know what you mean, because even though I enjoyed him in this role, it was more so in the micro moments between him and Izzy. Yeah, but not necessarily the big staged, moments.
Which he comes from stage.
Yeah, it did feel very staged. That's
and
true.
I was really surprised because I was strapped in, ready. I was like, oh, I'm going to bawl my eyes out. I'm fucking ready for this. And then the whole time, I wasn't able to fully emotionally invest, just like, because like when you were saying about the script, I was like, how interesting, because I felt that way about the movie.
Well, and Rachel plays it very back-footed too.
She does.
Which makes now granted, they represent different things.
Yeah.
So but I don't think that helps what you're saying. Or maybe it should have helped what we're saying. Maybe her playing it very differently than he did should have actually made both shine more, but it didn't necessarily.
Yeah, not for me at least.
Fair. Okay, again, I went back and forth. I ended up a little bit higher than I felt was truthful, but because I kept doing this weird ping pong where I was like, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
Why don't I feel more?
Yeah.
There was only there was mainly one moment where I really felt like a little like,
Which part?
When she dies and a moment later Lillian's like,
when she dies on the script, I was like,
but that got me because I was like, that felt like the first like true like visceral moment where you're like, because I felt like I could relate to like are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And I thought that was such a gorgeous use of stakes. It's a great story beat.
And it's also classic life.
Yes.
And how you can just keep going on this one thing, but like
it would be so
you might
easy
achieve it, but you might just be not quick enough.
And that because we want the lesson to be that he can save her, but that isn't what the lesson is. That's not what the messaging of this movie is. Yeah. So that was the only moment, but there was a lot of moments I felt like I should have been feeling more than I was.
Agreed.
This is what I wrote. I really enjoyed the film and what the greater message is. The divine is always calling for us, most often quietly, subtly, and in ways you must attune yourself to. The more we resist, the deeper the pain. It was only Tommy's acceptance of Izzy's passing, then he was able to understand that eternal life and peace that Izzy continued to speak into him while she got closer and closer to her own physical death. This movie seems to be courageous enough to show us that death is not a failure. It is a becoming. To new experiences, expansion, consciousness, everything. It is only when we close ourselves off to it that the pain feels bottomless.
Yes,
That's what I felt most appreciative about.
Yes.
Was that, although I will say I did feel it clearer in the script than in the film. I actually felt that the messaging was clearer in the script.
I agree.
Whereas the movie felt slightly more upfront. What we're saying is still very much, I think, the takeaway of the movie as well.
Yeah.
But when I was like finishing the movie, I was like, they made some slightly different choices that made it feel a little bit, the visuals and stuff made me go like, yeah, that's the messaging. But some of also like little micro moments of Hugh Jackman's performance made me go like, I bought his shift into acceptance more on the page than in the film. It felt a little bit like, wait, why is he accepting it now? Like it didn't, I couldn't fully get on board for how his arc actually happened.
I completely agree. I think for me, what I have kind of come to the conclusion of, and I still have to sit with it a little bit longer to fully parse through, if this is where I'm actually landing with it. But right now, what I have is that, so the movie streamlines the narrative a lot. Like there's a lot of exposition that is breadcrumbed throughout the script that in the movie they tell you a lot more especially in the Mayan sequences and that we learn kind of like I said in breadcrumbs in the script. And in the script, and this is throughout my notes and obviously my daddy do too, that they do a really good job in the script with using exposition as reveals.
Yes.
And in a way that makes you feel like an active participant in the story that works a lot better on the page.
Yeah.
Like the first example I have of it is the surgery in the very beginning.
Yes.
And you think that Tommy is working on a human. And then we find out after this whole long thing, because it's like the stakes are there because he's a surgeon. I mean, we'll get into it. I mean, I guess we can just start getting into pages.
Did I give my score?
Yeah.
Did I? What did I say?
Oh, wait.
I don't know if I did.
No, did you?
I just realized, I don't think I did. I landed on an 8.2.
Fair.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair.
The reveal of Darren being
So it opens with this amazing Mayan set piece where these conquistadors are trying to find the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the script. And it opens that way in the movie too.
It's slightly different in the movie.
It is different. The sequencing of what you discover is different. And then we go to this man who's like in an operating. He's like a surgeon, and you see that his wife is there, like asking him to go walk with her, and he's just so busy and work obsessed, and you don't know anything yet. So that's another information gap that you don't realize is an information gap until you get the reveal later, which I like because that again forces you to be an active participant.
Yes.
But his wife is wanting to walk with him, and then as she's walking out, this guy comes to him, one of his colleagues, and he's like, "Hey, Donovan's open on the table." So we get in there, and he's doing this brain surgery. And at one point, they say, if this doesn't take, we're going to have to euthanize him. And I thought that was a weird term to use for a human.
Yes.
And so, but it's intriguing. So I was like, okay, so the stakes are high, whatever. They're doing experimental stuff. So then it's like, when he starts to talk about this experimental medicine that he's going to use, you're like, huh, okay, so he's kind of like a renegade. This must be like experimental, like medicine, like a clinical trial or something.
It's so intense on the page.
Yeah. And then we have this great reveal that they're operating on a rhesus monkey. And so I was like, I fucking love that, because now it's like, here, I'll read what I said.
One thing I want to add really fast that I was curious if you noticed this. I loved their use of saying he's been open for 50 minutes. Because that tells you, that already informs a lot. It's one sentence.
Yeah.
But to say that to a surgeon, like, and as the viewer, that we're like, wait, why? Like, you understand his urgency to then not be with his wife.
Yeah.
But it also,
absolutely.
but also you're like, why has he been open? Like, he wasn't with his wife this whole time. She came in. So I love, that was such a tiny detail, but I thought it was a really smart and well-placed detail to show you just like, oh, like it's unsettling kind of.
Yeah, totally.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. On page 22 is where the reveal is. I said the reveal that the patient they're working on is a monkey is a great example of the power of using exposition as reveal. We could have entered the surgery scene and immediately seen that Tommy and his team are operating on a monkey, and we would have immediately understood that they're research scientists working on some controversial fringe project, but that is nowhere near as compelling as keeping the patient's identity unknown, because that makes the reader immediately assume it's a human and that Tommy is a traditional surgeon, thus heightening urgency and stakes. Revealing that the patient is in fact a monkey forces the reader to backtrack their assumptions, adding a new layer of context and intrigue by simultaneously closing the information gap of what Tommy's profession is and opening a new one that begs the question as to exactly what he's doing within that profession.
Yes.
And there's moments like this throughout the script where we're learning new details that then gives a completely new context to prior information that we got pages ago. And that is largely what they took out of the script with certain things.
Yep.
And I think if you had kept a bit of that mystery that's keeping, like, stringing you along and like pulling you with it, it may have worked better on screen. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I do wonder, like, I mean, I wonder if it was just a choice that they made in the editing room, if this was made when they were filming. But yeah, it's interessante.
But it does feel good on the page when you're like, oh, like it's fun. It's fun to be wrong about stuff. It's fun to have to confront your assumptions.
No, that's a great note. It is fun to be wrong about something when the reveal and like the proof that you're wrong is leading you down a more interesting path.
Yes.
That is a daddy do in the wild.
Daddy do in the wild. But really, because like, by the way, though, and again, I want to say this goes without saying, but it's like not in the lazy way where you're wrong about something and then it doesn't make sense to you. But this
it has
was
to
like
all be intentional. It's
absolutely.
storycraft.
And even down to he's been on the table, for 50 minutes. Like that's intentional. That is meant to make you go, whoa, like he's so overworked, but why has he been open that long? Why?
Yeah.
All the things.
And then also like the whole thing of like setting up in a very quickly on this kind of trope of like the man who's putting his work above his wife and da-da-da. But then when you see later on that his wife has cancer.
I will say one of the moments I loved is when in the movie, when Lillian's like, then why are you here? And he like snaps at her. He's like,
why the fuck do you? Yeah.
That was like such really an earnest, like a person at the end of their fucking rope.
Yes.
That I agree. It's like, once again, you make another gorgeous assumption that you have to confront within yourself. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
The surgeon who's ignoring his wife, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, no, like he's literally at a race against time.
Yeah. And the cancer reveal was nice too, because on the page, you get that something's off, but like when we first meet her out there on the roof while she's looking through the telescope at Orion's belt, at the Shibalba star, you see they make a point to tell you that she's barefoot. She's in the snow.
Yes.
She looks down at the melted snow at her feet, and she's kind of like playing in a puddle. And it makes you wonder like why like that seems so uncomfortable. He's like, let's get you inside and warm you up. And then when she's in the bath, in the script, I didn't clock it that her head was shaved. Obviously in the movie you see her head shaved, so you know something's there. She's wearing a hat before that. But in the script, I still didn't clock it until she's like, can you heat up the sponge for me? And he puts it on her, and then it's like, oh, she can't feel. And then he's like, I'm calling the doctor. And then I was like, oh, okay.
Not to get
it's great.
So ahead of myself, but that bathtub scene is everything.
It
is because it does so much. Like we've talked about this before with sex scenes. They can be incredible vehicles of information.
Yeah.
or they can be completely pointless and gratuitous. This one was not only was it beautiful, like visually stunning, emotionally really beautiful and heartbreaking, but also
tender, but so sad,
but also like that we got to see him like let his guard down for 2 seconds, and then like and to see them connect, that you saw this is what he's fighting for, because we have a couple sweet moments with them, like when in the snow, when she has him come out and look, but but even then you can see he's always preoccupied with this ticking clock of death that is going on in his head. More than her even. It's like he's always a little bit elsewhere.
That's the beautiful thing about the messaging of this is that he's more preoccupied with himself the entire time, when he thinks he's just doing it all for her. Anyway, I just love that.
I just felt like but also leading up to the intimacy, she says like is she a redhead? And he's like, what are you talking about? Line. And she references the ring, and then he like does not think it's funny, right? And then she feels bad. But what I thought was so interesting, if you can't wait, you can't wait. And he immediately, his body language is immediately different. Yeah. But then I thought she's so quick, like out of desperation, to ask him to heat up because she knows it's not for her.
Oh yeah.
But it was like her way of communicating to him differently. Like instead of saying I can't feel, she almost had to like walk him through it. That's what I thought was really a like a nuanced, beautiful moment.
Exposition as an action too. Great.
Yes. Yeah. Is that she wasn't, if you really watch it, she's not figuring that out for herself.
You're right.
For the first time. It's like, because she also is so quick to do it when he goes to leave that you're like, oh no, that's in the back of her head.
But you can see on her face too that like the moment he knows this, it's real now. Yep. Like she already knows she's experiencing it, but it's like she knows it's just,
and she sees the wheels going for him, and the fact that she is able to pull him into that intimate moment and pull him fully clothed into the bath with her, because who knows how much time I have left, and that we finally see him just sink into her. And then it's like this gorgeous, sexy moment. I just was like, I thought that was such a powerful scene from start to finish for all of the reasons. Yeah. And it like is now going in my folder for, it sounds even like cheap to be like sex scenes, but like it's going into my folder of proof of how effective intimacy can be in a script when you allow it to really inform and mean something. Because that scene was pivotal to the movie.
Totally.
It was my favorite scene of the movie, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a really good one, because it's like what does intimacy with your partner look like when one of them is terminally ill?
Yeah.
And they're clearly at the later stages.
But also
of their illness, and just like,
but also so heartbreaking. That meaning
and
like this is something she can still do.
Appreciate, because like it's sex is always more than sex when you're truly in love with someone. But like that thing of like appreciating someone's physical presence, in the most intimate way you can, because you might.
Well, and it's also too like I feel like when you've been with someone for a long time, it becomes another mode of communicating. It becomes another mode of connection. And it was almost as if she had started to realize, because she is on this journey that we see where she's continuously, her consciousness is just continuously expanding, and she's finding more and more peace, where he's going the opposite, that she knew there were no words that she could have used. True communication with words was never going to work with him. But if she wanted to feel closer to him in that moment, she had to do it differently. Mm-hmm. And how informative is that? Yeah. And that we got to see him sink into it was important too, because now we go like, he is in love with this woman. It's not just about like an ego thing. Like I have to save her. It's like, no, like he's in love with her. That's how deep this goes. Cause now I love him more too. Cause I get the desperation on a different level.
Exactly.
Whereas if he would have been like, Izzy, no, and then left, I'd be like, bro, honestly.
It's a super pivotal scene.
Huge. Yeah. Huge.
Oh. Let's go back to page 1 though.
Yes. Oh my God.
Page 1, it's a fun formatting alert.
It's also just stunning.
Because I want to show the Script Babies in our socials.
Yes.
What page 1 looks like, because the formatting on it really increases intrigue, because they space out lines on the page and leaves like. Yeah, they leave space between sentences in a way that builds intrigue as you're reading it, and it uses the action as little mini reveals as well, which we talked about in previous episodes.
Also, not one slug line to be found, ladies and gentlemen.
Truly.
There is not one slug line in this film.
And it works.
And it works.
Like,
now again, this is not an advertisement to do that. I don't recommend. But it's very impressive.
But if you can pull it off like Aronofsky did in this, it's a continuous flow. Like I remember reading this and not feeling no breakaway.
No.
Like I said in my assessment, I felt no friction.
It's almost like a stream of consciousness,
yes,
to be honest.
Yes.
Which works for this story.
And being able, that's why dipping in and out of time and location is so fucking impressive. Because there's never a log line. And he does it all in the action where it's like, and we're back in Spain, 15, 30, whatever. Yeah. So this is page 1, Script Babies. It says, and blinding white burned the words. Therefore, the Lord God banished Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden and placed a flaming sword to protect the tree of life. Genesis 3:24. The words become the night sky, our beginning, the whole universe above, life eternal, and there in the middle of it all, a gold star. Brighter and larger than the rest, it flickers violently, hinting at distant chaos. From the ground, crickets scream their mating calls, a thunderous noise, until the insects go silent, eerie, beat. A muddy foot and a worn sandal smashes down. Reveal Father Avila, a Franciscan priest, his chest heaving, searching for breath. He's covered with dirt, scratches, and cuts. He wears a torn, sweaty brown robe, and the year is 1535, and the priest stands somewhere in a slight clearing of a Central American swamp, New Spain. His possessed and feverish eyes scan the blackness around him. He looks up at the sky. Father Avila, please, please show mercy. A twig cracks. Footsteps. Avila holds his breath. Even the way that last page ends builds even more intrigue. The page leaves on like a kind of cliffhanger.
It's really beautiful.
But so the fun formatting for this comes into, it says the words become night sky. It's like almost a mini slugline of its own. Then it's like from the ground, it's like a mini slugline. But what I really loved was when it says he wears a torn, sweaty brown robe, and then they go to a different line and underline it says the year is 1535. And then another line, the priest stands somewhere in the slight clearing of, and then like a slugline of Central American swamp, New Spain. It is incredible formatting.
It is. Because
it's so intriguing.
It's intriguing and clear. It's intriguing and clear. It's intriguing and clear, which I truly think when you hear people get upset about formatting the most, it's because someone thinks they're doing something cool, but it actually makes it harder to follow so often. Because we've talked about quite a bit on this podcast times where, hence the formatting alert alarm that we do with our mouths. But like it can be done. When people say it can't be done, it can be done.
It really can.
But it has to be intriguing and clear.
Exactly.
Those are the two necessities.
Yeah. Definitely play around with formatting, but exactly. Keep it clear
and start small
and let it build.
Like in
500 Days of Summer.
500. That was one of my. That was like my favorite part of that script.
And it adds so much energy and playfulness to the page. In that script, it added a sense of playfulness. In this, it's not playfulness. It's more, even though it is kind of like it's an energy that like you're in for something different.
Yeah.
This is not the expected, and God, I loved it. And throughout the whole story, the formatting is just excellent.
It's excellent. Yeah. No slug lines.
When the star goes supernova at the end, it says, and the star goes supernova. It's each word is on a different line. It's leading you up to feel certain emotions. That's in the way that a movie is a perfectly crafted emotion machine. This story is the same way. Like he really sat and thought about the journey that your mind's going to go through while you're reading this. And that's why it's like, I really can't recommend reading this script enough just to see how someone who's really talented can pull off fun formatting.
Agreed.
Then also the line, his possessed and feverish eyes scan the blackness around him.
Gorge. Absolutely.
Already telling us so much about his character and what they've gone through.
Seriously.
That's another thing on page 2. Captain Tomas Creo, Tomas, Tommy, and Tom obviously are all played by the same person. It's Hugh Jackman's character.
We lose Tom in the movie, don't we? You never see the gray-haired guy.
No, they make him bald in the movie, but that's still Tom.
Okay, that's because I was like, I knew that there was the middle, even though, did you feel, it felt like in the script, it was like they would say it was like it was in a ship. It was like it was a futuristic like ship, and
they said it's a bubble. They said it's a sphere.
No, but it also says they
say it's a ship, but that it's a sphere.
But I think they do say sphere, but the use of the word ship threw me off. Okay. Where I kept picturing a bubble, like a sphere, but I was when you say ship, like, and it would say like the deep ship, whatever. I kept going a little bit more of what our assumptions are when we think in the future and a ship, while still having a tree. Like I was still picturing, but I was picturing opposites. I was picturing a juxtaposition of like this very futuristic ship that
like nature on the inside.
Yes.
I do
Whereas
love that.
I do too. Whereas the movie was very different and I loved the movie, but the way the movie was done made it feel so much more like his subconscious mind to me.
Yeah.
And way less of like an actual future timeline. It didn't feel at all like a future timeline to me.
Totally.
But that might just be my own interpretation.
I like that though. I like that's.
How did you feel? Did you feel like it was like, oh no, that's his future?
Yeah, I did. But that's also because I saw the movie before.
Okay.
I didn't really remember any of the plot, but I remember the visuals.
Okay.
And I remember the ship and everything, and it is in the future. But I like the idea of it being his subconscious. That's really fun. I think there's a world in which it's both.
Yeah.
That's super fun.
Yeah.
And fascinating.
Yeah, super fun. I was just
it kind of is like his ego traveling to this destination, and it has to be broken apart.
Well, and the way that she comes and goes both in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
Then as herself, like normal, then as Queen Isabel, and how quick in and out and all that stuff. It just felt like a subconscious mind, the way memory works, the way meditation works, the way all that stuff. Whereas I did not feel that way at all reading the script. I was like, no, this is the future timeline. He's on a ship, blah, blah, blah. So I just thought that was super interesting.
I love that because I never even considered that. But with this story is so steeped in themes and messaging that I can totally see that that's a natural fit for it. I really love that.
Yeah.
That's really fucking cool. On page 2, I said there's a gorgeous character description for Captain Tomas Creo. The specificity and careful word choices inform his character and what he's been through beautifully. We've said it before, but you really can't beat a well-crafted character description. They help build the world in the early pages of the script. And this is what his character description says. It says, enter Captain Tomas Creo, a beast of a man. He pulls his cracked helmet from his head and drops it in the mud. His face is lined, weathered, weary. A meaty scar zigzags through his natty hair. This is this is me. This is a man that's seen battle. This is a man that's seen battle that has a legacy of hardship and struggle. The cracked helmet tells us that they've been in battle recently, and the meaty scar on his face shows that he's a survivor, determined, and a force to be reckoned with. I really loved that, like the cracked helmet. I think you could easily look over that detail, but it informs the history of what he like.
No, I noted that too.
They were clearly just in battle.
No, I noted that too.
Everything in the script is so intentional.
Yeah.
But in a way that it feels like you said, how it almost feels like a stream of consciousness. It feels like the intention is just baked into like how he was writing this.
I agree.
Obviously, I'm sure they did multiple drafts and they really honed it.
Yeah.
But it comes off as so effortless.
But that's what I was just going to say. Craft is when it feels effortless. That is the difference. And I was actually talking about this today with someone, how the difference between real life and then obviously like with this movie, you know, we are going beyond real life, but it's also meant to be rooted in real life too. But the difference between real life and screenwriting is that we are reflecting we talked about this with Spade. Let's go back and listen to our episode with Spade Robinson because it's one of our absolute favorites.
Nickel Boys.
But we really talk about this with her where it's like the craft of screenwriting is how do you like reflect real life versus replicating real life, like verbatim, because that is it's like you want to get as close as you can to it feeling real in a way that can resonate the essence of that. But if you literally copycat tit for tat of real life, it doesn't have the same effect as going, how can I reflect this?
Yeah.
And this movie did a lot. It felt like it was like, not necessarily the film. The script had a lot of these moments that felt like they were so thoughtful and yet it felt so easy. But as a writer, that had to have required deep, deep consideration.
Absolutely.
Which is just like
so impressive.
So impressive.
A well-written script is just, I'm always impressed.
And I'm saying all of this, even having not been like deeply, deeply like emotionally moved reading it, I still absolutely enjoyed reading it.
Yeah.
And it's not like I felt nothing either. It was just, I just think I've had more emotional reactions to scripts before that I was expecting, given the nature of all of this, that I just thought I would like be crying at the end, and I just like wasn't. And I was like,
expected
interesting.
to have like a about time reaction. Whew.
Or The Notebook. Remember when you and I?
The Notebook
took
me.
By the way,
out.
I have quoted that to more people where I'm like, that's a script I did not. Even though I've always loved that movie, I did not expect that script to be one of my favorite scripts.
It is a script.
Really good script. You and I were like kind of shook.
Yes. It was so good.
It's so good. If you haven't listened to that episode, listen or just go read the script because it's a really beautiful script.
Bring some tissues. You're going to cry.
We both sat down for that episode like.
Where's your notes?
My first one's page 11.
Period. I have one on page 3.
Get it.
I said beautifully executed action here when Tomas stabs Ariel. So Captain Tomas has some other conquistadors that are with him. One of them is named Ariel, who's like an advisor to the queen. And they decide that they don't want to be here anymore. They're being murdered by these Mayans. Yeah. It's just a never-ending onslaught. And they're like, we want to head back home. And we're going to stage we're out, peace. We're staging a mutiny. And Tomas ain't having that. And said it's a great reminder that well-crafted action does not have to be long and overly descriptive. This is what it says. Tomas acts. In a flash, a dagger is in his hands. In a second flash, Tomas drives the blade into Ariel's throat. The fight is over before it began. Ariel lands on his back, dead. And all of those lines are on a separate line of their own. All those sentences are on a separate line of their own, so it keeps the energy moving, keeps the pace up. So the action also serves to inform Tomas's character even further. This is a skilled, highly trained, and experienced soldier, a lethal killer with deft hands and lightning-fast reflexes who won't let anything or anyone stand in the way of his goals. Also, by placing each sentence of the action in a separate line of their own, it generates energy on the page, continuing forward the mini reveals, making it easier to fall into the story because we're being drawn into the action more efficiently. Yeah. Because if you've listened to any of our other episodes or you know this about me, but if you're new, if this is your first episode that you're listening to, I'm an action and formatting and structure girly. That is my favorite part of screenwriting, is finding fun ways to show the story on the page, because I just feel like it really helps inform your mind's eye. And I'm going to probably repeat this so many times, but this script is just so good at it.
You know what I just realized while you were listing that off? Because this script is only 98 pages, and I think that
it's right and tight.
Something to keep in mind with his choice of formatting with this is that I think the only reason he's able, not the only reason, but the main reason he's able to format the way that he did is because there's so little dialogue.
Yes.
Because if you had more dialogue in this script would be so long. Because he is literally never, like, you never have two sentences like back to back. There's
you really
always
don't.
Spaces.
And they're always getting cut off.
And it's visually so pleasing, and it makes this thing move and sing in that way, but it does not work with a script that has a lot of dialogue.
Completely correct.
So that just kind of hit me right now. I'm like, that's a good note to have. If you have a script that does not rely a lot on dialogue and it's a lot more of these other moving parts, all the more reason to really experiment in that sense, I guess. I mean, do whatever you want, but you know what I mean? Like, I was like, that is one of the things that was very different about the script, is there's just not a ton of dialogue.
A more dialogue heavy script is, for me, always an easier read, but just because dialogue, it moves faster, it takes up more of the page.
Yeah.
And like you said, like if you don't have and if you don't have a dialogue heavy script, definitely play around with how you can streamline your action, because in all the scripts that streamline that, it always works.
Always.
When it's good action told succinctly, it always heightens the experience of reading it.
It's
and
true.
That's the whole point of this, is that you want to make this an enjoyable experience for your reader.
It's true. I also think too, as a person, so Colin is the action girly. I've become way more of an action girly because of this podcast. I've been so inspired by so much of what we read, and I decided to stop saying that I wasn't good at it, and that alone changed it. I have so much more fun with it now, but dialogue is like I'm a dialogue girly, like all day. And that's the actor in me too, is like, I'm just like, how do I express this? But that being said, I think something that I've been playing around with a lot more and I think is really fun is writing, if you have a more dialogue heavy script, experimenting with really peeling back on your directives on the page between. And like, again, find the middle ground, because there's certain moments, like as the creator of the universe, like if it's really important that lands a certain way, like absolutely put that.
Yeah.
But again, I've been having a lot of fun recently on this more like this like last refinement I've been doing on my script. I'm like, I found myself finding like a real gorgeous freedom and going, actually, that doesn't need to be reiterated there. I'm going to take that out.
Yeah.
And A, it makes everything flow better. But B, it's also like there's something kind of beautiful too about inviting the reader and then ultimately the performer to interpret a little bit more.
Yeah, because we've talked about this in other episodes, but when you can trust your reader to pick up on what they're going to need to pick up on, but then still feel, again, like an active participant in the script where they're able to play, because everyone's going to project their own filter upon any material, anything that you read, watch, whatever, you're experiencing it through your filters. But it's a fun experience because I can't think of the film right now, but we did one where there was a lot of that, where it felt like it trusted the reader to be able to have their own experience with it, but still you're being guided obviously through the script. So there's
the most ideal
parameters,
way,
there's natural parameters there, but yes, God.
Do you have one between 3 and 11?
I have one on 9 and one on 10.
Give it to us.
On 9, I said the smash cut from the past as Tomas Creo falls and hits his head to Tom Creo waking up in his spaceship, floating amongst the branches of an ancient tree, is one of the most stunning and effective uses of juxtaposition I've seen in a script thus far. Two worlds collide like a splash of water on your face, forcing you to adjust abruptly, but in a way that is incredibly intriguing. The sharp transition is frictionless because the action continues to be beautifully and economically written, formatted in one or two sentences spaced out on different lines. It's easy for the eye to follow, so the imagination is free to paint the world in your mind without the intrusion of too much prose. This is masterful work. It's another one of those things where, like, again, in other scripts, you would do a traditional smash cut, have a log line and stuff, but in this, it says, still fighting, swinging his sword, screaming. He lands on his back. He hits his head, thud, smash to, close on Tom Creo, eyes pop open, while waking with the start, fear still grips him. He's the same man as Tomas, his face just as weary, but now the beard is gone, and so is the scar. So we go into this, and so you're already in this new space. This is a new person, but the way he says, it's just like, again, this is another thing we talked about in previous episodes, but I feel like when I read something like this, where it's so easy and so straightforward, like, this is the same person that we saw before, no scar, no this, I feel like, this is also first draft stuff that you then go and polish out. And I feel like so many writers would feel like you have to really like make sure the reader knows, like, this is the same person, but like it'd be really easy to fall into the trap of telling too much here, too much explanation here. But this fully trusts the reader to just get it, because how can you mince the words here when it's telling you this is the same person just without the scar? Now he's, this is the way he looks.
It's like clean and clear, and
I loved it. It's just, I can firmly say I've never experienced a script that does this.
Yeah, I agree.
No log lines, nothing, just throwing you right in.
Yeah.
But it fucking works. What the hell?
You're saying log lines? You mean slug lines?
Slug lines.
I'm only clarifying.
Have I been saying log lines a bunch? Wow. It's slug lines. Oh, wow. I've said log lines a bunch. Then my next one's on page 10. I just said, this is gorgeous action. It says deep space, smothered with stars. They sparkle forever in the ink black infinity. One grows in size, approaching. In fact, it is not a star. It is the spherical ship heading right at us. Whoosh. The bubble whips past. Faster than anything we've ever seen, quickly it disappears, racing towards a towering nebula. The nebula is a great cloud, a great glowing cloud made up of trillions upon trillions of molecules. It's shimmering like a gold silk sheet catching a light summer breeze. It almost looks like heaven.
It's stunning. Poetry. It's a lot of it is very like poetry. Like,
it is.
Truly.
Gorge.
My page 11 is, I said, this is such great visceral imagery that the movie perfectly captured. Tom drops to his knees. He reaches out to the healthy bark. Tiny hairs on the bark reach out towards him. Electricity, static. Love that. Mm-hmm. And the movie is a literal, like they literally do exactly that.
Yeah.
Down to almost exactly what I pictured is exactly what was done.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It's kind of fucking weird.
It is.
It puts you outside of your comfort zone, but in a way that actually turned me further into the script, into the movie, all of it. That was one of my script and screen moments that I was so pleased with. Mm-hmm. I was like, there's so many ways you could show the health or the death of a tree, and they picked by far the most unique way. Mm-hmm. Now, here is a question for you, my love.
Yeah.
I don't think this is in the script because I looked a couple times. I could be wrong, but it's in the movie multiple times. Him eating the bark. What do you think the symbology was of him eating the dying? Like, this tree is dying. Mm-hmm. There's only a little bit that's healthy still, and he's very invested in the part that's healthy, right? Mm-hmm. And yet, twice we see him like heartbroken and doing the same thing he's doing with Izzy, which is like, we're going to make it in time. It's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. But then he goes and takes a piece off and eats it. And I was like, I literally immediately was like, I have to know Colin's interpretation of that.
Well, it immediately makes me think of like the sacrament of communion and how like people like eat the body of Christ and drink the symbolic blood of him.
Yeah.
To unify themselves with Christ. So like this is the tree that grew out of the grave of his wife. So there's, I think, twofold. I think he's doing that to continuously be a part of his wife. Him and his wife are continuously merging even as he's lived, 1,000 years past her death. Because for him, them being together is still such a physical thing. It has to be physical. Because that's why he's still living. He's going out to the star thinking that it's going to retransform this tree into her. That's how I take it, at least. So there's that element of it. But then there's also the element that I think the tree that they discovered is like this fountain of youth. I think he planted that in her grave. And so he's eating it as a way to prolong his life.
Well, I was going to say, it feels so open to interpretation. But it felt, if I solely went off of how it felt, because again, it was not on the page, that it's on the page that he at one point is like doing stuff, but it is not directly like he peels some of the skin off and eats it from the dying tree. That there was something about it that felt innately kind of selfish that I thought was very interesting. Like it almost felt like it could have simply been his obsession with preserving her is almost his own obsession with self.
He's literally consuming it.
Like he's literally consuming her.
And consuming his grief in a way. He's so like he can't.
He's not aware of the fact that he's actually not making her worse, but like that he's getting in the way. Mm-hmm. Like I just thought it was such an interesting choice to 2 times go close on his mouth and watch him take a piece off of this dying tree he's so desperate to heal and eat it. I just it really stuck with me.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
especially for a story in script that is so symbolic.
Yeah, totally. I like the interpretation of it being a selfish act because it kind of is, because the tree's dying and it's like his obsession with keeping her alive longer and his obsession with living forever that's such a selfish thing, because it's a betrayal, not a betrayal, but a rejection of life and a rejection of what did happen to her, that she is dead. He's still thinking he's going to go out and be able to resurrect her. Mm-hmm. Like he's tried everything else.
I didn't realize
he's
that
living
the tree
forever
is meant
now.
to be the tree that he planted on her grave.
I think we're supposed to think the whole time. We're supposed to think that this is the the tree of life that they found in that they never directly say this is what they do.
Yeah, okay.
But then at the very end, he plants the seed.
Right.
And he took her out because we don't know what happened on Earth, why he left, whether we just know it's 1,000 years into the future. But I believe it's her tree. That's why he talks to like we're gonna go there, and when we get to the star, you're gonna be reborn. We'll be together forever. We're always here. And so I think him eating it is like we're together forever. You're always in me. But it's like when she's literally showing up to him in his conscious as like a ghost or a figment of his imagination, whatever it is, and she says to him, "I'll always be with you." Because she says, we'll always be together. I know. He says, I'll always be here for you. Yeah. Like he's always talking in the physical terms.
It felt, now that we're talking about it, it almost feels like his eating of the dying tree while saying he's trying to save it is energetically so similar to him saying he's trying to save her, but not actually being present with her when he's with her. It's like, It's like cut from the same energetic cloth.
Agreed.
Where you're like, you don't realize what you're doing. Like, it doesn't change that your intention is good, but the way it's being orchestrated through you is like wrong.
Mm-hmm. The intention's good, but again, completely selfish. It's good because he wants to help his wife, but he only wants to help his wife so that he can physically get more time with her on Earth.
He's ignoring the acceptance and the journey that she's on over and over and over again.
Yeah, when like she keeps telling him, like, I'm not afraid anymore. And she's trying to draw him into that consciousness by saying, you're going to finish the book. I want you to finish the manuscript. I don't know the ending, but you will.
Yep.
Oh, God. I love that. Because also, there's also a testament to, in this story, it's like a testament to writing and how we use writing as a bridge or like as a transmutation point for what we're going through.
Well, and I also love too, like how symbolic she was of the divine and how symbolic he was of like the id, like the human,
totally.
Like how it almost was like stark, how she was just like this ever present being that has fully accepted itself as everything. I am everything. And he is like, no, you're this body, you're mine, and you're here.
And that is some divine feminine, divine masculine. Although the divine masculine is it's
imploded though. It's like it's not in its highest. It's yeah. Yep.
And I also thought it was interesting to look at that she's kind of this embodiment of death and the acceptance of death and how beautiful that can be and how that raises your consciousness up to a different level. Because like we talked about this in Hamnet, how like the divine feminine is like the void. It's where we all come from, where we all go back to. And like the representation of that here is like, cause like in the Indian cosmology, there's like Kali, like the goddess of like death and like, well, like Shiva is like the actual, like, you know, destruction and renewal and stuff like that. And he's a male deity, but like Kali is like this like killer. And how like it's like a female energy. I just love the thought of that. I was like, oh, I just love little layers.
And you also know I like firmly believe that women are seers. Like women have the ability to see. So not that men can't, but women are innately like part of our DNA, part of our survival in this world has been our ability to see beyond what's here. And I loved that too. Like that was my own application of it. But like, I like, whereas men are very good at like feet on the ground, rooted, like what needs to happen here and now, which he is, by the way, like take out the obsession, all that stuff. Like it is like admirable that he is so like in many ways that he's so passionate about ending this, you know, even though I thought the line when he says death is a disease like any other, I was like, oof, like what a painful belief to carry around with you. Oh my goodness.
Cannot accept it.
But I thought like,
it's
again,
something to be cured, not something to be embraced. Like it's everyone's going to die.
Yeah.
And like the rejection of it is what causes so much strife.
Truly. Well, and I think I told you that like part of the reason I wrote that in my thing of like death is not a failure was like that was my biggest lesson I learned with Dharma, my soul dog who passed. Like it just, those are words that I just kept hearing in my head. And it was like, I've experienced so much loss in my life, and this was the first time I met it going like, oh, it's actually not a failure. Not that I ever felt that anyone failed by passing, but it felt like death in and of itself was like this incorrect next thing when all of a sudden I had this shift of going like, oh no, it is not a failure. And when you can actually hold that in your body, it makes for a very, very different experience.
Yeah.
And obviously sometimes that's easier to do than other times depending on how someone goes. But I just mean like that. Yeah. And that you see just this desperation in him, how human it is. It's so fucking animal and like id and human to be like, no, you have to be here because if you're not here, you're gone versus if you're not here, you're fucking everywhere. You know?
Ooh, yes, God. I love.
I don't have another page note until page 64.
Okay, I have one.
I really got on cruise control and just enjoyed for the majority of the script.
I honestly, after those initial notes, after page 22, I kind of had to make myself get some more notes just like because I was doing the same thing. I was loving it, the experience of it so much. But I was like, I should have some notes. I should just like say what I like. So a lot of these are just like pretty writing. So on page 35, I love the way this is written. It says, Tommy's lab, handle silver, night. Tommy walks in. He's greeted at the door by Manny, Betty, Henry, and Antonio. They can barely contain themselves. The 4 planets to his son.
Oh, yes. I remember reading that.
I love the 4 planets to his son. Yes, God.
Especially in a script that you're constantly referencing stars and planets. It's like gorgeous.
So good. Page 56 says hospital afternoon. Tommy runs down okay, so there are slug lines, but it's hard. So when I'm reading it now, like, yes, there are slug lines, but script babies, you got to get the script and read it to see that it does not come off as like a slug line on the page. It comes off as a natural extension of the action.
It tells you where you are, but it is not by normal formatting at all.
There's no interiors or exteriors. No, ever. But he'll tell you, like, we go back into the bubble. We'll go, whatever.
Or time of day. You don't really ever get time of day either.
Yeah. And also another thing I noticed is when, like, when he's driving into the city, he says he's driving to a city. We never say where we are on Earth. But I like it. Page 56, hospital afternoon. Tommy runs down the hall towards Izzy's room. The doors open. He peeks inside, sees Lillian sitting with Izzy, holding her hand. They don't notice Tommy at the door. An old, healthy woman stares into the eyes of a young, dying woman. They are both open, completely open. Izzy has seen something Lily can just barely sense. Lily strains to understand her brain. Nonetheless, with her heart, she can feel Izzy's peace. Izzy is thankful. She is understood. The calmness fills them both. Their love soars through the room. Tommy takes a step back into the hall. The moments moved him.
Okay, now I want to talk about this for 2 seconds. What's interesting about that is, again, in reference to this script that is so fucking effective. If you have a dialogue-heavy script, you cannot be doing that shit.
True.
Because
Agreed.
It would be so much of giving away things that are not entire. Like you could use half of it.
Agreed.
Or like a fourth of it. But because this script has kind of got you in the mode of like, we don't rely on dialogue almost at all to inform you what's going on here. He does have to lean into these other things.
Yeah.
Now, technically, one of the quote unquote, I'm using, air quotes, rules is like, you have to write things that can be shot. Now that doesn't literally mean like it could inform performance in shooting that, but like that does inform performance, but it also goes beyond that in a way you normally in a regular formatted script would be a bit fucking much.
Yeah.
But because you're in the mode of this formatting, this script that has very little dialogue, whatever, that's why it works so well.
It does.
And I think it's important to know that in
what's
context.
Interesting, yes, it is, because what's interesting is that when that is put on film, when you watch it, it's a sweet moment between two women, and he sees it, he's peeking in, and then he kind of steps back. But in the film, I take it as him not wanting to break their moment.
Agreed.
And it's in there too, like but the whole thing of like, he takes a step back, he's moved by the moment. I didn't get that he was moved by it at all. It's more like it's almost too real to see his, like, to see this connection. Or
even like the depth in which it's like she's seen something. Lillian can't
They're both open. They're full
none
open.
of that's there.
Like
it's just a sweet moment.
They're both like looking at each other, having a sweet moment, but it doesn't. Yeah. So you can do all this on the page, and that it's great for the reader, like you said, in the context of
a script formatted like this.
Yeah, a script format like this, and one that doesn't have a lot of dialogue. Because you can get away with a bit more of that.
Because it's like, again, I don't know what it is, but the majority of scripts we read, art is not formatted like this. And when you start going that in the weeds, that specific, that esoteric in it, that much, it takes you out of something. Agreed. Whereas with this, it doesn't at all because you've been accustomed to it from get-go.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more things. 61 says this is a character description for the gods. This is when we're back in South America, and Captain Tomas Creo is going to the pyramid where the Fountain of Youth is. And he sees the leader of the Mayans, or like the spiritual leader of the Mayans. It says, walking down from the mount is the Mayan spiritual leader, the Papas. He wears a frightening headdress made of skulls covered with fresh human skin. His long hair is knotted with caked blood and pieces of pink flesh. He carries a flaming obsidian sword.
So yummy.
Obsessed.
And again, that actor captured also the costuming and all of it, but like that actor captured that perfectly.
Those gorgeous shots, like the use of silhouettes, like when the Papas is like in profile and you see that gorgeous headdress, but it's through the passageway of the top of the pyramid. Stunning.
One of the most stunning shots of the film.
Stunning.
So beautiful.
And then page 62, I said the scene between Tomas and the Papas is incredibly evocative, haunting, and thrilling. Possibly reads page 62 for the babies. I said, I particularly love this dialogue, Papas in Mayan with subtitles, Death is the Road to Awe. I love that.
It's beautiful.
And this, unlike Call Me By Your Name, did dialogue in a different language perfectly. They just put it in parenthetical in Mayan with subtitles. There you go. There you go.
Well, because, and also, speaking of clarity, one of the strong suits of the script is clarity.
Yeah.
That there's so much going on in this script. If he had done it any other way, even with his clarity, you would have been like, what?
And with these wild things that we're doing, you really, if you got too in the weeds with any one thing here, it would have created friction on the page that would have really dampened the experience. I'm going to read a little bit of page 62 for the babies just because it is so good. It says, the Papas arrives at the top of the stairs. The Papas arrives at the bottom of the stairs. Tomas reaches for his own sword. It is gone. He pulls out his only weapon, Father Avila's Mayan dagger. It will have to do. The Papas stares at his prey with bloodshot eyes. Papas in Mayan with subtitles. First, Father sacrificed himself to the tree of life. Enter and join his fate. Tomas doesn't understand. The Papas knows this. He smiles. His teeth are filed to vampire points. Tomas attacks. The Papa sidesteps and counters. The flaming sword splits the air. Instantly, the point lands firmly in Tomas's chest. His shirt catches fire. The front of it burns away, revealing a nasty gash just beneath the conquistador's heart. He stumbles backwards, holding the wound. For the first time, we see fear grip Tomas. Death is close. His eyes race. His breath quickens. He's going to die. Victoriously, the Mayan moves in for the kill. Papas in Mayan with subtitles. Death is the road to awe. The Papas lifts the flaming sword, and Tomas shrinks back, and the blade rushes towards the crown of his head. And as it hits close on Tom Creo, eyes pop open. And then we're back in the bubble.
So intense and beautiful.
I loved him stabbing him and then his shirt catching on fire and burning away to show the wound.
So cool. So cool.
I love what's yours on 64.
So I'm just going to read her one line, but I wrote page 64 to 65 is so beautiful. It's my favorite scene outside of the tub. They're in the hospital and Izzy says to him, remember Moses Morales? And he's like, who? And she says, the Mayan shaman. And he's like, from your trip. And she says, the last night I was with him, he told me about his father. He had died, but Moses wouldn't believe it. He pleads with her and she says, listen, he said if they dug his father's body up, it would be gone. They had planted a seed over his grave. The seed became a tree. Moses said his father became part of that tree. He grew into the wood and into the bloom. Then he said when a sparrow ate the tree's fruit, his father flew with the birds. And when a hunter ate the sparrow, his father lived on in that man. He said death was his father's road to awe. That's what he called it, the road to awe. There's a parenthetical above it where it says making the point, which you didn't need, but fine. And then there's another parenthetical that says about her manuscript. And she says, when I wrote this, I couldn't get that out of my head. Tommy says, why are you telling me this? And she says quietly, I'm not afraid anymore, Tommy. Tommy just shakes his head. But like such for a script that has so little dialogue, I absolutely loved that because in one little monologue, you get everything you need to about where she's at. She has made peace with all of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be everything and everywhere. And then, right after that, she says, I asked Lily if I could be buried at the farm, and he gets up off the bed to leave. And he says, stop it. I want you to be with me. And in the movie, it really hits. She says, I am with you. She says it so sincerely. She says, I am. I'll always be with you. I promise. And it's like she means it. And she knows it, and he doesn't because he doesn't accept it. It's kind of very Hamlet. It's like he can't accept it yet, so it's almost like he feels like she's taunting him. Yeah. When she's trying to do the opposite. She's trying to say like, I'm enough in the other world now to know that like I'm gonna be everywhere, and I'm literally always gonna be with you. Ugh. And he feels like she's placating him. Mm-hmm. Like, oh yeah, you're always gonna be. You know what I mean? Because it's like he's completely shut off. His heart is completely shut off. But I just thought it was like really beautiful. They didn't make a meal out of it, but it was like you had the subtext of why that came out. But the road to death is the road to like, come on.
So in that moment, in that beautiful dialogue about the tree, she's also feeding him this idea to plant a tree on her grave, so he has a physical place that represents her. Mm-hmm. And so like it's funny because I didn't remember this from the movie, that the tree part, but I'm wondering if this subconsciously inspired me because for years now, I've said that when I die, I want to be buried under a peach tree. And I want a little sign that says, eat me.
That is so you in the most gorgeous, stunning way.
That's how I want to be buried.
I will say that
not in a casket. I just want to be put in the ground with a tree.
I will say that this movie made me go like, oh, do I want to be in a tree?
Yeah. I love it.
The answer is
I want to be the most delicious peaches anyone's ever eaten.
Yeah. I don't think I want to be in the ocean. I think I'd like to be a tree.
Yeah.
And then like when people like come up to me, I can like vibe out.
Beautiful like cherry tree with your like little pink blossoms.
Yeah, I can be. Oh yes,
gorgeous.
But like, let's say like some little gorgeous tree hugger like comes up, and I'll be like, hello.
Yeah.
Like I won't be subtle about it. I'll be like, hey girl.
You're like, ah.
Or I'm like,
I was telling Carly the other day, I think I want to remain a ghost just for a little bit.
And you will
after I die, just to have a little fun, just to be like, hey.
But
I would.
But you have to do it in like cute ways and not the scary
for
ways.
you and the ones I love, cute. But I do think I want to scare a couple people.
But we're both gonna live forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding. We learned nothing from this film. My last. No, Colin and I have done this. We've done it soul dances together. I think this is like our 20th life together.
It has to be.
My last one is page 68 and it's tiny.
My last. I had the dialogue you just wrote, but my last is on page 76.
All I put was small ways that show your voice in writing. It says Izzy's room. He looks at his wife's luminous face. God, she's beautiful, glowing in the early dawn light. I just thought like, again, like that's like a very specific to your voice thing to put. God, she's beautiful, glowing in that I don't think I've ever, because it's so conversational.
Yeah.
Once again, though, it works because of how he formatted this. I would not just be throwing that around in any script. It really matches what he's made us accustomed to. And I just thought it was beautiful.
Yeah. My last is page 76. I said the symbolism of Izzy dying at dawn. There you go.
I didn't.
Death as an act of creation. Like you have death right there. The end of one phase, and then literally the symbolism of a new day.
It's a new day. It's a new dawn.
It's a new day for me.
Dawn.
And I'm feeling good.
This is a singing podcast. It's actually disguised as a screenwriting podcast, but Colin and I take every opportunity to sing like assholes. That's all my
that's all the
notes.
script
I'm looking
notes.
at my movie notes because I think we went over a bit.
So there was one movie difference that I liked. So there were different moments that I thought were really, really good and helped. So like in the beginning of the beginning of the movie is very different. They give us a lot of the Mayan scenes that are, put out in about 3 different set pieces, condensed down into one. And it works really nicely. It builds a lot of energy, it builds a lot of intrigue. And then when you cut out of that, it is kind of like, oh, where are we going now? But then there's another moment where we go back into 1532 Spain. And there's this whole sequence with Captain Tomas Creo before he travels to South America, where it's like during the Inquisition and notoriously heinous time. Lots of atrocities.
Just kidding.
Lots of atrocities being committed in the name of Christ.
Absolutely.
And so there's this moment where there's the big bad who is the Grand Inquisitor. And in the script, we meet him where he's this feeble old man walking up these stairs, and he's going out to this, look over this courtyard, and he sees these people that are tied to stakes and they're about to be burned alive. In the movie, the change that they make is when we first meet the Grand Inquisitor, it is a wide shot of him sitting in front of a fire, self-flagellating, which, if you don't know what that means, it's a very pious religious practice where you beat yourself on the back with like leather whips to whip yourself the way that Jesus was whipped, to show how like devoted to it you are, and that and also to punish yourself for being an ever sinful human.
Yes,
but so I thought, exactly. I thought though that really informs his character so fucking quickly.
Oh yeah.
You see how pious he is, you see how dedicated to the religion he is, but also you see if this man is willing to do that to himself, there's almost nothing he won't do to someone else.
Our first introduction is violence.
Yeah, exactly. His whole life revolves around violence.
Yeah.
And just...
It almost doesn't matter that it starts at him. It's just like, it does. But I mean, like, the violence being the through line for him is...
Absolutely.
He's ick.
He's disgusting. I liked that. And then another thing I realized that was a change was, so in the script, when after Izzy has her seizure at the museum and they take her to the hospital, and she pulls out her manuscript when Tom gets there and she hands it to him. And then after giving him, she gives him a fountain pen and an inkwell. And she's like, then she gives him the manuscript and she says, I want you to finish it. Like this, it's for writing. And it's like a sweet moment because she keeps trying to like invite him into this process with her. In the movie though, in the hospital scene, instead of her giving him the manuscript, Tommy walks into the room holding the manuscript.
Yeah.
And he says, I brought your manuscript in case you want to get some work done, which is a perfect example of how he's still denying what's going on here.
Yep.
Oh,
I felt that
and it's for himself. It's a safety blanket for himself.
Yep.
Maybe if I see her open this up and start writing, then things are good. We have more time. There's more time left. I thought that was a really good change from script to screen. Very subtle, but informs his character even more.
So true. And you know what just hit me too while you were saying that is like her invitation and almost gentle demand, but really invitation for him to finish the story is yet another seer moment where it's like, you could look at it, if you look at it from a solely human element, how gorgeous that writing is so personal and so, like, it's arguably one of the most personal things there is. And to invite someone else in, no matter how much you love them, to trust them to finish it when you're not going to be around to even see what they choose or to like go back and forth with, like that in and of itself is like, what a loving act. But then from a more spiritual sense, because this movie is always playing with both, it's like her invitation into going like, I know none of this other shit worked. I tried to invite you into this process with me over and over and over again. So my final thing is I'm going to tell you, you will know how to finish this. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to reiterate that enough, both through memory, in the present, all of that it will be the thing that ultimately pushes you into acceptance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, like the fact, like it's also cool that like through, it's like she's hoping that through reading this work that is obviously she is dealing with her own mortality through writing a story about the Fountain of Youth and, you know, the human hubris of going after this so doggedly. And then it's like, so then the last chapter before the ending chapter ends with us not knowing whether the Papas kills Captain Tomas or not.
Yeah.
And so it's up to Tommy to then read that through and to digest. Does he go forward and live forever, or does he accept death? And it's just this another layer of that where I'm like, oh,
gorgeous.
I love you, Izzy.
This is just funny when they first show him floating in the black and white orb, like he's like literally like this. I was like, at this point, Scott was watching a little bit with me, and I literally went, God, that looks relaxing. And he just started laughing. He was like, oh, you're tired. I was like, but I was like, that just looks so peaceful.
Float weightlessly.
No neck cramps. No lower back pain. Just
floating.
Free floating.
Floating.
I did love the idea of the Mayans picking a dying star to represent their underworld. I was like, this is absolutely delicious. When she says that, like, I just love it. I was like,
She's like, how'd they pick that? Because they were tapped the fuck in.
Also, one of the changes from script to screen was, I will be your Eve. Together we will live together forever. That she does not say I will be your Eve in the script.
Oh yeah. When did she say that?
She says it in the movie like 3 times.
Oh.
They come back to it over and over again.
Oh.
I thought that was really, it's not in the script. I went and looked. She said
also,
it's more about Spain.
The symbolism of that, like, I'll be the one that brings you the knowledge that you need to open your eyes and see beyond what you've been told.
Yep. Yeah. In the script, it's more, her phrase that gets repeated is a little bit more about Spain. It's like, you will carry the banner, and then like,
oh right, yep.
You will live forever.
Spain will never die.
It's like you will live forever. Whereas the choice was more about us. Like, I will be your Eve. We will live together forever. I like that a lot.
I like the choice that, so when Tommy, so after the scene where after she has her seizure again, there's a scene where Tommy is walking to his office and he's walking down a city street. And in the movie, they cut out all sound, all environmental sound, everything. It's a silent fucking image of him walking down the street with all the hustle and bustle of a city street around him. And then the sound comes rushing back in when a car almost hits him and it stops.
I loved that.
And it brings him and us back to reality. But I love that representation of after something happens and you're just so only in your world, you're only focused on that, and that it's his own mortality that brings him back to it.
I loved that.
Love it.
Because it also eats even just like anxiety when you're like you're so like razor focused on one thing.
Yeah.
And then an element brings you back in, like a car almost hitting you. I loved that. I loved that. Loved it.
Love it.
I don't really have much more. My last thing I said was I really love that the tip of the pen that he starts to tattoo his finger with looks like a sword. Like, it's so tight on it.
Yeah.
And like with the drop of blood and then whatever, I was like, oh, that was definitely on purpose. And I learned
convinced that they actually pierced someone's finger with the tip of that, because the way the blood comes out is so natural and it looks like fresh blood. I was like, damn, I wonder if he actually pierced himself with that.
How many fingers were sacrificed for the fountain?
Period. You know, I have self-tattooed my fingers many times.
I have.
Oh, right. Duh. You had you had to.
In a past life, this life, but a while ago, I used to do stick and poke tattoos, which, like I told you, I think I want to bring that back for like only loved ones.
You should. I would love another one.
Well, do you want to tell the babies what you had me tattoo on you?
Oh, yeah. It's Pen 15.
It's also was the first one I've ever did. It's actually what hilariously sparked me wanting to do it, because I was like, that was so fun.
Yeah.
I was like, just do it. And I remember I was like, Colin, no, I don't want to tattoo. And then we did it and it was so fun. And then I like actually for a minute, I started tattooing my loved ones, and then literally strangers started hitting me up and I started tattooing strangers for a while.
It's fun to just sit and tattoo yourself. I love it. It's nice, and it hurts less when you're doing it to yourself.
Also, a funny story, I have a line on my foot from when I ordered new
needles.
New needles. There's so many cool needles. And I ordered one that was like 4 needles all together and then like 3 right next to it or like in front of it. And I got so excited about it that I dipped it in ink and pushed it into my foot, completely forgetting that it was permanent. And so I just have this like weird little line on my foot. I've had it for years that I was like, Scott's like, have you thought about covering up? I'm like, no, it's kind of like an innocent reminder of just like, that was dumb, but also kind of funny.
I still have the beginnings of a C on my ankle from when I couldn't handle the pain.
That's
it was so painful. It was so sensitive. Jesus.
You little baby. Beep, bop, bop, beep, bop. That's it. That's all. That's all she wrote.
I have 2 daddy do's and no daddy don'ts.
I only have 1 daddy do and 1 daddy don't.
Give us the daddy do.
The daddy do is play with formatting as long as it's consistent and easy to follow. One of the strengths of the script was that it was clear. It was as clear as it could be for having so many timelines intersecting, and part of that came from the writer choosing his own way of tackling location without using traditional slug lines. I don't think slug lines, by the way, I don't think slug lines would have hurt this script, but I didn't miss them, and I actually found myself just appreciating his different choice. Yes. So like, I mean, not a revolutionary daddy do, but a reiterating one.
Daddy do number 1. Daddy do handle time and location jumps with as little friction as possible. The script jumps back and forth through time and various locations constantly, but the way it's formatted on the page is so easy to follow, and it builds intrigue and a sort of dynamic kinetic energy on the page, energy of its own. When dealing with high concept material, make sure to really hone your formatting choices so it serves the story's highest potential. Formatting is so often the secret sauce for creating a fascinating, engaging read because it serves as the medium through which your words inspire your reader's imagination. And obviously, you can't have fun formatting without well-written prose. So there's it's a symbiosis there. But I do think that when you have really well-written stuff, when you have really well-written action, formatting is that secret sauce that takes it from really good to fucking great.
Okay, so mine is like, again, I feel a little weird about it, but this is just a little bit speaking to my experience. I said, Daddy, don't forget to find ways to inject more essence into your story. This film bites off such enormous concepts that are so profoundly in-depth and nuanced while all kind of surrounding the eternal truth of love. But I was so surprised that I was not more emotionally engaged in a visceral way. The script and film have all of the ingredients to conjure up those big feelings, and I was genuinely surprised that I didn't feel more pulled in emotionally. I felt like it engaged my mind and spirit, but not my human.
Fair.
So maybe that was part of it is like, for me, it felt like it pulled me so much into my spiritual self that even though, I mean, spiritual stuff makes me emotional all the time, but it just felt very like I was experiencing it through like my top 2 chakras versus like I wasn't feeling it the same way.
Fair.
So again, it's that is a light one, but I just felt like maybe if there was a little bit more of like some visceral ways to pull in the body more into the script, that would have landed more for me. Dash it.
So this is now a daddy don't, because the way I wrote it works better. So daddy don't use information as exposition that could be better utilized as a reveal.
Ooh, love, love, love.
This script perfectly utilizes information gaps in exposition to lead us to revelations that deepen character and plot development. Refer to my note from page 22, the reveal of Tommy's true nature as a surgeon, for a good example.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
And that's that on that, honey.
That is The Fountain.
The Fountain.
It was wonderful.
It was.
I highly recommend the script and the movie.
Yeah, highly, highly, highly recommend
Especially, too, the movie knowing that, like, either, like, I think they had to have used, obviously, some effects, but that's so much of it, when you go back and look and it's, like, zoomed in Petri dishes and shit, is so impressive.
Wild. Yeah.
So impressive.
This is a movie that I think I would say it would be fun to watch the movie first and then read the script.
I don't disagree with you.
They're a bit of a different experience.
They are. They definitely are.
But dear God, that script. Period.
Yum.
Okay.
We did it.
We did it.
I love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you too, Script Babies.